Sainte Therese writes concerning her vocation, addressing her words to Jesus, O Jésus mon bien-aimé, O Jesus my beloved. Who could express the tenderness and sweetness with which you are guiding my soul? It pleases you to cause the rays of your grace to shine through, even in the midst of the darkest storm. Jesus, the storm was raging very strongly in my soul, ever since the beautiful feast of your victory, the radiant feast of Easter. One Saturday in the month of May, thinking of the mysterious dreams which are granted at times to certain souls, I said of myself that these dreams must be a very sweet consolation, and yet I wasn't asking for such a consolation. In the evening, considering the clouds which were covering her heaven, my little soul said again within herself that these beautiful dreams were not for her. And then she fell asleep in the midst of the storm. The next day was May 10th, the second Sunday of Mary's month, and perhaps the anniversary of the day when the Blessed Virgin deigned to smile upon her little flower. At the first glimmerings of dawn, I was, in a dream, in a kind of gallery, and there were several other persons, but they were at a distance. Our mother was alone near me. Suddenly, without seeing how they had entered, I saw 3 Carmelites dressed in their mantles and long veils. It appeared to me they were coming for our mother, but what I did understand clearly was that they came from heaven. In the depths of my heart I cried out, "Oh, how happy I would be if I could see the face of one of these Carmelites." Then, as though my prayer were heard by her, the tallest of the saints advanced toward me. Immediately I fell to my knees. Oh, what happiness! The Carmelite raised her veil, or rather she raised it and covered me with it. Without the least hesitation, I recognized Venerable Anne of Jesus, foundress of Carmel in France. Her face was beautiful, but with an immaterial beauty. No ray escaped from it, and still, in spite of the veil which covered us both, I saw this heavenly face suffused with an unspeakably gentle light, a light it didn't receive from without, but was produced from within. I cannot express the joy of my soul, since these things are experienced but cannot be put into words. Several months have passed since this sweet dream, and yet the memory it has left in my soul has lost nothing of its freshness and heavenly charms. I still see Venerable Mother's glance and smile, which was filled with love. I believe I can still feel the caresses she gave me at this time. Seeing myself so tenderly loved, I dared to pronounce these words, "O Mother, I beg you, tell me whether God will leave me for a long time on earth. Will he come soon to get me?" Smiling tenderly, the saint whispered, "Yes, soon, soon, I promise you." I added, "Mother, tell me further if God is not asking something more of me than my poor little actions and desires. Is he content with me?" The saint's face took on an expression incomparably more tender than the first time she spoke to me. Her look and her caresses were the sweetest of answers. However, she said to me, "God asks no other thing from you. He is content, very content." After again embracing me with more love than the tenderest of mothers has ever given to her child, I saw her leave. My heart was filled with joy, and then I remembered my sisters, and I wanted to ask her some favours for them, but alas, I awoke. O Jesus, the storm was no longer raging. Heaven was calm and serene. I believed, I felt there was a heaven, and that this heaven is peopled with souls who actually love me and consider me their child. This impression remains in my heart, and is this all the more because I was, up until then, absolutely indifferent to Venerable Mother Anne of Jesus. I never invoked her in prayer, and the thought of her never came to my mind except when I heard others speak of her, which was seldom. And when I understood to what a degree she loved me, how indifferent I had been toward her, my heart was filled with love and gratitude, not only for the saints who had visited me, but for all the blessed inhabitants of heaven. O my beloved, this grace was only the prelude to the greatest graces you wished to bestow upon me. Allow me, my only love, to recall them to you today, which is the 6th anniversary of our union. Ah, my Jesus, pardon me if I am unreasonable in wishing to express my desires and longings, which reach even unto infinity. Pardon me and heal my soul by giving her what she longs for so much. To be your spouse, to be a Carmelite, and by my union with you, to be the mother of souls, should not this suffice me? And yet it is not so. No doubt these 3 privileges sum up my true vocation: Carmelite, spouse, mother. And yet I feel within me other vocations. I feel the vocation of the warrior, the priest, the apostle, the doctor, the martyr. Finally, I feel the need and the desire of carrying out the most heroic deeds for you, O Jesus. I feel within my soul the courage of the crusader, the papal guard, and I would want to die on the field of battle in defense of the church. I feel in me the vocation of the priest. With what love, O Jesus, I would carry you in my hands when at my voice you would come down from heaven, and with what love would I give you to souls. But alas, while desiring to be a priest, I admire and envy the humility of Saint Francis of Assisi, and I feel the vocation of imitating him in refusing the sublime dignity of the priesthood. O Jesus, my love, my life, how can I combine these contrasts? How can I realize the desires of my poor little soul? Ah, in spite of my littleness, I would like to enlighten souls as did the prophets and the doctors. I have the vocation of the apostle. I would like to travel over the whole earth to preach your name and to plant your glorious cross on infidel soil. But, oh, my beloved, one mission alone would not be sufficient for me. I would want to preach the gospel on all the 5 continents simultaneously, and even to the remotest isles. I would be a missionary, not for a few years only, but from the beginning of creation until the consummation of the ages. But above all, O my beloved Saviour, I would shed my blood for you, even to the very last drop. Martyrdom was a dream of my youth, and this dream has grown within me, within Carmel's cloisters. But here again I feel that my dream is a folly, for I cannot confine myself to desiring one kind of martyrdom. To satisfy me I need all. Like you, my adorable spouse, I would be scourged and crucified. I would die flayed like Saint Bartholomew. I would be plunged into boiling oil like Saint John. I would undergo all the tortures inflicted upon the martyrs. With St. Agnes and St. Cecilia, I would present my neck to the sword, and like Joan of Arc, my dear sister, I would whisper at the stake your name, O Jesus. When thinking of the torments which will be the lot of Christians at the time of Antichrist, I feel my heart leap with joy, and I would that these torments be reserved for me. Jesus, Jesus, if I wanted to write all my desires, I would have to borrow your book of life, for in it are reported all the actions of all the saints, and I would accomplish all of them for you. O my Jesus, what is your answer to all my follies? Is there a soul more little, more powerless than mine? Nevertheless, even because of my weakness, it has pleased you, O Lord, to grant my little childish desires, and you desire today to grant other desires that are greater than the universe. During my meditation, my desires caused me a veritable martyrdom, and I opened the epistles of St. Paul to find some kind of answer. Chapters 12 and 13 of the first epistle to the Corinthians fell under my eyes. I read there in the first of these chapters that all cannot be apostles, prophets, doctors, etc., that the church is composed of different members, and that the eye cannot be the hand at one and the same time. The answer was clear, but it did not fulfill my desires and gave me no peace. But just as Mary Magdalene found that what she was seeking by always stooping down and looking into the empty tomb, so I, abasing myself to the very depths of my nothingness, raised myself so high that I was able to attain my end. Without becoming discouraged, I continued my reading, and this sentence consoled me. Yet strive after the better gifts, and I point out to you a yet more excellent way. And the Apostle explains how all the most perfect gifts are nothing without love. That charity is the excellent way that leads most surely to God. I finally had rest. Considering the mystical body of the Church, I had not recognized myself in any of the members described by St. Paul, or rather I desired to see myself in them all. Charity gave me the key to my vocation. I understood that if the Church had a body composed of different members, the most necessary and most noble of all could not be lacking to it. And so I understood that the Church has a heart, and that this heart was burning with love. I understood it was love alone that made the Church's members act, that if love ever became extinct, apostles would not preach the gospel, and martyrs would not shed their blood. I understood that love comprised all vocations, that love was everything, that it embraced all times and places, in a word, that it was eternal. Then, in the excess of my delirious joy, I cried out, "O Jesus, my love, my vocation, at last I have found it. My vocation is love. Yes, I have found my place in the Church, and it is you, O my God, who have given me this place. In the heart of the Church, my mother, I shall be love. Thus I shall be everything, and thus my dream will be realized." Why speak of a delirious joy? No, this expression is not exact. for it was rather the calm and serene peace of the navigator, perceiving the beacon which must lead him to the port. O luminous beacon of love, I know how to reach you. I have found the secret of possessing your flame. I am only a child, powerless and weak, and yet it is my weakness that gives me the boldness of offering myself as victim of your love, O Jesus. In times past, victims, pure and spotless, were the only ones accepted by the strong and powerful God. To satisfy divine justice, perfect victims were necessary. But the law of love has succeeded to the law of fear, and love has chosen me as a holocaust, me, a weak and imperfect creature. Is not this choice worthy of love? Yes, in order that love be fully satisfied, it is necessary that it lower itself, and that it lower itself to nothingness, and transform this nothingness into fire. O Jesus, I know it, love is repaid by love alone. And so I searched, and I found the way to solace my heart by giving you love for love. Make use of the riches which render one unjust, in order to make friends who will receive you into everlasting dwellings. Behold, Lord, the counsel you give your disciples, after having told them that the children of this world, in relation to their own generation, are more prudent than are the children of the light. A child of light, I understood that my desires of being everything, of embracing all vocations, were the riches that would be able to render me unjust. So I made use of them to make friends. Remembering the prayer of Elisha to his father Elijah, when he dared to ask him for his double spirit, I presented myself before the angels and saints, and I said to them, I am the smallest of creatures. I know my misery and my feebleness, but I know also how much noble and generous hearts love to do good. I beg you then, O blessed inhabitants of heaven, I beg you to adopt me as your child. To you alone will be the glory which you will make me merit. But deign to answer my prayer. It is bold, I know. However, I dare to ask you to obtain for me your twofold love. Jesus, I cannot perform the depths of my request. I would be afraid to find myself overwhelmed under the weight of my bold desires. My excuse is that I am a child, and children do not reflect on the meaning of their words. However, their parents, once they are placed upon a throne and possess immense treasures, do not hesitate to satisfy the desires of the little ones whom they love as much as they love themselves. To please them, they do foolish things, even going to the extent of becoming weak for them. Well, I am the child of the church, and the church is a queen, since she is your spouse, O divine King of Kings. The heart of a child does not seek riches and glory, even the glory of heaven. She understands that this glory belongs by right to her brothers, the angels and saints. Her own glory will be reflected, the reflected glory which shines on her mother's forehead. What this child asks for is love. She knows only one thing, to love you, O Jesus. Astounding works are forbidden to her. She cannot preach the gospel, shed her blood. But what does it matter, since her brothers work in her stead, and she, a little child, stays very close to the throne of the King and Queen. She loves in her brother's place while they do the fighting. But how will she prove her love, since love is proved by works? Well, the little child will strew flowers. She will perfume the royal throne with their sweet scents, and she will sing in her silvery tones the canticle of love. Yes, my beloved, this is how my life will be consumed. I have no other means of proving my love for you other than that of strewing flowers, that is, not allowing one little sacrifice to escape, not one look, one word, profiting by all the smallest things and doing them through love. I desire to suffer for love, and even to rejoice through love, and in this way I shall strew flowers before your throne. I shall not come upon one without unpetaling it for you. While I am strewing my flowers, I shall sing. For could one cry while doing such a joyous action? I shall sing even when I must gather my flowers in the midst of thorns, and my song will be all far more melodious in proportion to the length and sharpness of the thorns. O Jesus, of what use will my flowers be to you? Ah, I know very well that this fragrant shower, these fragile, worthless petals, these songs of love from the littlest of hearts will charm you. Yes, these nothings will please you. They will bring a smile to the church triumphant. She will gather up my flowers, unpetaled through love, and have them pass through your own divine hands, O Jesus. And this church in heaven, desirous of playing with her little child, will cast these flowers, which are now infinitely valuable because of your divine touch, upon the church suffering, in order to extinguish its flames, and upon the church militant, in order to gain the victory for it. O my Jesus, I love you. I love the church, my mother. I recall that the smallest act of pure love is of more value to her than all other works together. But is pure love in my heart? Are my measureless desires only but a dream, a folly? Ah, if this be so, Jesus, then enlighten me, for you know I am seeking only the truth. If my desires are rash, then make them disappear, for these desires are the greatest martyrdom to me. However, I feel, O Jesus, that after having aspired to the most lofty heights of love, if one day I am not to attain them, I feel that I shall have tasted more sweetness in my martyrdom and my folly than I shall taste in the bosom of the joy of the fatherland. Unless you take away the memory of these earthly hopes through a miracle. Allow me then, during my exile, the delights of love. Allow me to taste the sweet bitterness of my martyrdom. Jesus, O Jesus, if the desire of loving you is so delightful, what will it be to possess and enjoy this love? How can a soul as imperfect as mine aspire to the possession of the plenitude of love? O Jesus, my first and only friend, you whom I love uniquely, explain this mystery to me. Why do you not reserve these great aspirations for great souls, for the eagles that soar in the heights? I look upon myself as a weak little bird, with only a light down as covering. I am not an eagle, but I have only an eagle's eyes and heart. In spite of my extreme littleness, I still dare to gaze upon the divine Sun, the Sun of love, and my heart feels within it all the aspirations of an eagle. The little bird wills to fly toward the bright sun that attracts its eye, imitating its brothers, the eagles, whom it sees climbing up toward the divine furnace of the Holy Trinity. But alas, the only thing it can do is raise its little wings. To fly is not within its little power. What then will become of it? Will it die of sorrow at seeing itself so weak? Oh no, the little bird will not even be troubled. With bold surrender it wishes to remain gazing upon its divine Son. Nothing will frighten it, neither wind nor rain, and if dark clouds come and hide the star of love, the little bird will not change its place, because it knows that beyond the clouds its bright sun still shines on, and that its brightness is not eclipsed for a single instant. At times the little bird's heart is assailed by the storm, and it seems it should believe in the existence of no other thing except the clouds surrounding it. This is the moment of perfect joy for the poor little weak creature. And what joy it experiences when remaining there just the same and gazing at the invisible light which remains hidden from its faith. O Jesus, up until the present moment, I can understand your love for the little bird because it has not strayed far from you. But I know, and so do you, that very often the imperfect little creature, while remaining in its place, that is, under the sun's rays, allows itself to be somewhat distracted from its sole occupation. It picks up a piece of grain on the right or on the left. It chases after a little worm. Then, coming upon a little pool of water, it wets its feathers, still hardly formed. It sees an attractive flower, and its little mind is occupied with this flower. In a word, being unable to soar like the eagles, the poor little bird is taken up with the trifles of earth. And yet, after all these misdeeds, instead of going and hiding away in a corner to weep over its misery and to die of sorrow, the little bird turns towards its beloved Son, presenting its wet wings to its beneficent rays. It cries like a swallow, and in its sweet song it recounts in detail all its infidelities, thinking in the boldness of its full trust that it will acquire in even greater fullness the love of him who came to call not the just, but sinners. And even if the adorable star remains deaf to the plaintive chirping of the little creature, even if it remains hidden, well, the little one will remain wet, accepting its numbness from the cold and rejoicing in its suffering, which it knows it deserves. O Jesus, your little bird is happy to be weak and little. What would become of it if it were big? Never would it have the boldness to appear in your presence, to fall asleep in front of you. Yes, this is still one of the weaknesses of the little bird, when it wants to fix its gaze upon the divine sun, and when the clouds prevent it from seeing a single ray of that sun. In spite of itself, its little eyes close. Its little head is hidden beneath its wing, and the poor little thing falls asleep, believing all the time that it is fixing its gaze upon its dear star. When it awakens, it doesn't feel desolate. Its little heart is at peace, and it begins once again its work of love. It calls upon the angels and saints who rise like eagles before the consuming fire. And since this is the object of the little bird's desire, the eagles take pity on it, protecting and defending it, and putting to flight at the same time the vultures who want to devour it. These vultures are the demons whom the little bird doesn't fear, for it is not destined to be their prey, but the prey of the eagle whom it contemplates in the centre of the sun of love. O divine word, you are the adored eagle whom I love and who alone attracts me. Coming into this land of exile, you willed to suffer and to die, in order to draw souls to the bosom of the eternal fire of the Blessed Trinity. Ascending once again to the inaccessible light, henceforth your abode, you remain still in this valley of tears, hidden beneath the appearances of a white host. Eternal eagle, you desire to nourish me with your divine substance, and yet I am but a poor little thing, who would return to nothingness if your divine glance did not give me life from one moment to the next. O Jesus, allow me in my boundless gratitude to say to you that your love reaches unto folly. In the presence of this folly, how can you not desire that my heart leap toward you? How can my confidence then have any limits? Ah, the saints have committed their follies for you, and they have done great things because they are eagles. Jesus, I am too little to perform great actions, and my own folly is this, to trust that your love will accept me as a victim. My folly consists in begging the eagles, my brothers, to obtain for me the favour of flying toward the Son of Love with the divine eagle's own wings. As long as you desire it, O my beloved, your little bird will remain without strength and without wings, and will always stay with its gaze fixed upon you. It wants to be fascinated by your divine glance. It wants to become the prey of your love. One day I hope that you, the adorable eagle, will come to fetch me, your little bird, and ascending with it to the furnace of love, you will plunge it for all eternity into the burning abyss of this love to which it has offered itself as a victim. O Jesus, why can't I tell all little souls how unspeakable is your condescension? I feel that if you found a soul weaker and littler than mine, which is impossible, you would be pleased to grant it still greater favours, provided it abandoned itself with such total confidence to your infinite mercy. But why do I desire to communicate your secrets of love, O Jesus? For was it not you alone who taught them to me? And can you not reveal them to others? Yes, I know it, and I beg you to do it. I beg you to cast your divine glance upon a great number of little souls. I beg you to choose a legion of little victims worthy of your love. The very little sister Therese of the child Jesus and the Holy Face, unworthy Carmelite religious.